Listen to me. If your life feels stuck right now, if every dua you make feels like it disappears into the sky, if every door you knock on stays shut, then this, right now, might be the most important message Allah wants you to hear. Because sometimes the risk you're crying for is being delayed on purpose, not because Allah has forgotten you, not because you're unworthy, but because He's protecting you from something you can't yet see. And until Allah rewrites your story, nothing will move forward. But when He does, your whole life will. 1. When Allah withholds to protect you, if your life feels stuck right now, if it feels like you've been pushing against walls that refuse to move, if you've been trying, praying and crying, but nothing seems to change, I want you to pause for a moment and let these words sink into your heart. This isn't rejection, this isn't punishment, this is protection. Sometimes Allah doesn't give you what you're asking for because He sees what you can't. You look at your life and see only what's missing. But Allah sees the entire picture. He sees the roads ahead. He knows the whispers you'll never hear, the traps you'll never notice, the heartbreaks you'd never survive, that job you wanted so badly. You thought it would change everything. You believed it would bring security, status, and peace. But Allah knew the truth. You couldn't see yet that it would have drained your soul, taken your time, and slowly led you away from the path He wants for you, that relationship you prayed for, crying night after night. You thought they were your answer. You believed your happiness was tied to them. But Allah knew that the heart you were holding on to wasn't built to hold yours back. He knew it would leave scars so deep you'd question your worth. So He took them away. Not because He doesn't love you, but because He loves you too much to let you build your life on something that was never meant to last. That opportunity you begged for, the one you thought would open every door, Allah knew it would have distracted you from the blessings He's shaping behind the scenes. He knew it would have chained you to a future that wasn't yours. You see, Allah knows the plans you haven't seen yet. He knows where each road ends, even before you take the first step. And sometimes the thing you want most isn't wrong, but the timing is. Because if Allah gave you everything you've been asking for, right now you wouldn't have the strength, the clarity, or the wisdom to carry it. That's why He closes doors, not to destroy your hope, but to protect your destiny. And I know it hurts. I know it feels like silence. You make dua at night until your heart aches. You wake up praying for a sign, but find only closed doors. And you wonder, why me? Why am I being left behind? But you're not left behind. You're being held back, so Allah can push you forward at the right time. His silence is not distance. His delay is not denial. His not yet is a promise that when it arrives, it will arrive in ways you never imagined. Because sometimes what feels like waiting is really Allah saving you from people who would have betrayed you, saving you from roads that lead to dead ends, saving you from a version of your life that looks beautiful on the surface, but would have broken you within. And one day, you'll look back at this season and whisper through tears, if Allah had given me what I wanted back then, I would have lost myself. Sometimes we cry for things we're not yet ready to hold. We pray for doors we don't realize lead to storms. And when Allah keeps them closed, we feel abandoned. We feel unseen. We feel unloved. But listen closely. The very act of withholding is proof of how deeply Allah loves you. When Allah withholds, He is guarding you, like a parent pulling a child away from touching fire. The child cries, thinking their parent is being unfair, but the parent smiles gently, knowing the pain they just saved them from. You are that child. Allah is that protector, that heartbreak you thought you couldn't live through. It wasn't to crush you, it was to redirect you. Because sometimes Allah has to let something fall apart, so your heart has room For what was truly written for you, that failure you thought, was the end of everything. That door you begged him to open, but stayed shut, it's not because you're unworthy. It's because Allah knows what's behind it. He knows the burdens you would have carried, the losses you couldn't handle, the darkness you weren't prepared to face. Sometimes Allah protects your rizq by keeping you in places you're desperate to leave, and other times He protects your rizq by taking you out of places you begged Him to let you stay. And I know there are nights you lie awake, wondering why He hasn't answered yet. You replay every rejection, you relive every loss, you compare yourself to people who seem to have everything you've been praying for, and you whisper in the dark, "Ya Allah, what about me?" But if only you could see what He sees, you would fall into sujood and thank Him for every single door He never opened. Because the thing about rizq is this: it's not just money, it's not just opportunities, it's peace, it's purpose, it's people, it's everything Allah has written to sustain your soul. And when He writes something for you, no power on earth can take it away. But until your heart is ready, until your faith is strong enough, until your wounds are healed enough, Allah will withhold it. Not because you're forgotten, but because He's preparing you to hold it without losing yourself. Every delay, every rejection, every heartbreak, it's not a punishment, it's a sacred pause, because there are blessings so heavy, so powerful, so life-changing, that if Allah gave them too soon, they would break you instead of build you. So He slows you down, He reshapes your heart, He rebuilds your soul until the day comes when you're strong enough to stand in the place you once prayed for. And on that day, you'll understand why the silence lasted so long. You'll see that Allah's no was never rejection. It was always a louder, greater, sweeter yes, waiting at the perfect moment. 2. The rizq that's delayed, not denied. Sometimes you look at your life and it feels like nothing is moving. You're working hard, you're making dua every night, you're chasing every opportunity you can find. And yet, every door seems to slam shut. It's in moments like these that whispers begin to rise in your heart. Maybe Allah has forgotten me. Maybe my duas aren't being heard. Maybe this rizq I'm praying for wasn't written for me. But listen carefully. Your rizq is not missing. It has not been denied. It's only delayed. Allah reminds us in Surah Ash-Shura 42:19, Allah is gentle with His servants. He provides for whoever He wills. The gentleness of Allah means this: when He delays something, it is never to torture you. It is never to humiliate you. It is never to deprive you. It is only because He knows something that you don't. Sometimes Allah holds something back, not because you're unworthy, but because He is protecting you from carrying blessings you are not yet ready to hold. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "What is meant for you will never miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you." Your rizq has already been written. Your name has already been attached to it. No boss, no rejection, no missed opportunity, no person on this earth can take away what Allah has promised you. But here's what hurts the most. Allah's promise doesn't always match our timing, and that's where the test begins. You see, sometimes getting what you want too early can harm you more than not having it at all. That job you desperately want, it might look stable on the outside, but Allah knows the stress, the harm, the sleepless nights. That would have come with it. That person you thought was your answer to every dua. You may see love, but Allah sees heartbreak waiting in the shadows, tears you don't yet know you'd cry. That opportunity you thought would finally open your life. Allah knows the trap hidden inside it, the doors you'd regret walking through, the roads that would pull you away from Him. So when Allah delays your rizq, it is never punishment. It is never rejection. It is His mercy disguised as silence. It is His love hidden in timing you cannot yet understand. But waiting is hard. I know it is. You make dua after dua, and it feels like your words are lost in the wind. You watch others receive what you have been crying for in sujood. And your heart whispers, "Why them, Ya Allah? Why not me?" But if you could see what Allah sees, you'd fall into sujud and thank Him for every door He kept closed, because you only see the surface. Allah sees the unseen. He sees the plans whispered against you in secret. He hears the conversations behind your back. He knows the intentions you'll never be shown. He knows every storm hiding behind what looks like sunshine. Sometimes Allah delays your rizq because He's still building you into the person who can hold it without breaking. You think you're waiting on rizq, but your rizq is waiting on you. He delays the blessing until your wounds are healed enough, your faith is strong enough, your heart is steady enough to carry what's coming without letting it destroy you. And that's what we forget. Rizq is not just about money. It's not just about jobs, promotions, or opportunities. Rizq is peace. Rizq is protection. Rizq is being saved from what you thought you wanted, but would have harmed you in ways you couldn't have imagined. You think you're being delayed, but you're being protected. You think you're forgotten, but you're being prepared. You think you're left behind, but Allah is setting you apart for something only you can carry. Because there are blessings so powerful, so heavy, so life-changing, that if Allah gave them to you before you were ready, they would crush you instead of raise you. So He slows you down, He refines your soul, He strengthens your heart, He shapes your patience in the silence until you are built strong enough to stand in the place you once begged to reach. And one day you'll wake up in the middle of that blessing and it will make sense. You'll whisper, "If Allah had given me this earlier, I would have lost it. I would have lost myself. But now I'm ready." Because Allah was never late. He was never silent. He was always working for you in ways you could not yet see. So when your rizq feels delayed, don't lose hope. Hold your heart steady. Keep your hands raised in dua. Keep walking even when the road feels heavy, because the delay you hate right now is the reason you'll be able to handle what's waiting for you tomorrow. And when it arrives, you'll understand why every no was mercy, why every delay was protection, and why every unanswered dua was actually answered in ways far greater than you imagined. Because what Allah writes for you will never miss you. And when He gives so beautifully that you'll forget you ever had to wait. You sit in the quiet of the night, your hands raised, your heart heavy, and your lips whispering, "Ya Allah, I've done everything. Why am I still waiting?" And in that silence, it's easy to believe you've been forgotten. But listen to me, you are not forgotten. You are being prepared. Allah delays your rizq because He knows the version of you today isn't ready to carry the weight of what He has written tomorrow. The rizq you're asking for isn't just a blessing. It's a test, a trust, a responsibility, and Allah loves you too much to give it to a heart that hasn't yet healed, to a soul that hasn't yet grown strong. Sometimes Allah delays your rizq because He's writing a story that's bigger than your prayer. He's rearranging people, timing, places, and opportunities in ways your mind cannot yet understand. Imagine this. You're standing before a locked door. You bang on it. You cry for it to open. But what you don't know is that behind that door is a storm waiting to swallow you whole. So Allah keeps it locked. He holds you back. He whispers, "Trust me, this isn't your door." And while you cry in front of it, He is quietly opening another door in the distance. A door you haven't seen yet. A door you didn't even know existed. A door that leads to blessings, so perfectly aligned with who you are becoming, you'll wonder why you ever begged for anything less. This is why Allah delays, not to punish you, not to deprive you, but because His love for you is far greater than your understanding of Him. He sees your tears. He hears your du'as. He knows the cracks in your heart and the weight of your sleepless nights. And still, He withholds. Not because He hasn't heard you, but because He's saving you from breaking under the very thing you think will complete you. What you think is being delayed is actually being protected. What you think is being denied is being perfectly prepared. And when it arrives, you'll see why it couldn't have come sooner. Because Allah doesn't just give rizq, He gives it at the exact second it will do you the most good and protect you from the most harm. You've been comparing your journey to others, watching them rise, watching them receive, what you've been begging for, and your heart aches. But you need to hear this. Just because someone got theirs before you doesn't mean yours is forgotten. Different souls, different timings, different destinies. Allah writes every rizq on its own clock. And when your clock strikes, nothing and no one can delay what was written to land in your hands. Even the wind cannot carry your rizq away. Even the earth cannot bury it. Even the hearts of people cannot withhold it. Because your name has already been stitched into its destiny. So why the silence? Why the waiting? Because Allah isn't just giving you rizq, He's preparing you for the moment when it comes, so that when you hold it, it elevates you instead of destroying you. You think you're waiting on rizq, but your rizq is waiting on you. Waiting for the day your heart is healed, your faith is steady, your soul is ready, and your hands are strong enough to carry what's been written for you since before you were born. And when that day comes, you'll understand everything. You'll see why every delay was mercy, why every rejection was protection, why every tear was an investment in something greater than you imagined. Because Allah was never late, and when He gives in ways that make the waiting worth it. 3. The hidden poison Allah removes first. Sometimes before Allah gives you the rizq you've been praying for, He begins by removing things from your life. And at first, you don't understand why. The people you thought would always stay, leave. The opportunities you thought were meant for you disappear. The dreams you were holding so tightly suddenly collapse. And in those moments, your heart whispers, Ya Allah, why are you taking away the little I have, when I've been begging you to give me more? But what you don't see is this. Before Allah multiplies your blessings, He often subtracts what poisons them. Sometimes the very thing you think you need the most is the very thing standing between you and the rizq Allah has written for you. That friend you thought would support you, Allah saw their jealousy long before you did. He heard the conversations you'll never hear. He saw how their heart would turn the moment your rizq arrived, so He removed them quietly, protecting your blessings before they even came. That job you thought would save you. You were ready to tie your future to it. You thought it was your doorway to stability, but Allah knew the darkness waiting behind it. The stress, the compromises, the quiet decay of your soul. So He kept that door closed, not to punish you, but to protect your peace from being swallowed whole. That relationship you prayed for night after night. You thought it was love, but Allah knew it would break you. He knew that if He gave you that person, you'd slowly lose yourself. So when it ended, you thought your heart was being torn apart. But in reality, Allah was saving it. Because there are poisons you don't even realize are poisons until Allah removes them. He hears what you don't, He sees what you can't. He knows what hides behind the smiles, what's whispered behind closed doors, what's buried in the intentions of people you thought you could trust. And sometimes the delay in your rizq has nothing to do with you being unworthy, and everything to do with Allah clearing your path. Imagine you're holding a cup, but it's full of bitter poison. You're begging Allah to pour honey into it, but He knows that if He does, the honey will mix with the poison and destroy you. So before He fills your cup, He empties it, painfully, slowly, one drop at a time. Every removal, every ending, every heartbreak is Allah draining the poison. So when He finally pours blessings into your life, they're pure enough to heal you instead of harm you. Sometimes the heartbreaks you're crying over right now are the very things saving you from heartbreaks you wouldn't have survived later. You see a person's smile, but Allah sees their heart. You hear their promises, but Allah hears their plans. You trust their hands, but Allah knows what they would have done with the keys to your life. And so, He removes them, quietly, suddenly, without explanation. And it hurts, I know. It feels like a wound you can't stop bleeding from. You replay every memory, every conversation, every dream you built with them in your head. And you whisper, Ya Allah, why did you take them away? But what if I told you they were standing between you and the rizq Allah promised you? What if the very people you're crying for would have poisoned your blessings if they had stayed? Because Allah doesn't just give rizq, He protects it. He protects it from hands that would exploit it, from hearts that would envy it, from people who would try to take credit for it. And this is why sometimes He pulls people out of your life before He opens the doors you've been praying for, because the rizq He's writing for you isn't meant to be shared with everyone you're holding on to right now. Not everyone who walks with you is meant to arrive with you. This is why certain relationships collapse right before your breakthrough. It's why friendships fade right before your life changes. It's why people suddenly switch up just when you need them most. Allah sees the hearts you cannot see. He hears the words you'll never hear. He knows who would have tried to steal your peace, take your credit, or plant seeds of doubt just when He was about to bless you most. And so He removes them, not because you asked, not because you knew, but because He loves you too much to let your rizq arrive in the wrong company. Think about it. If Allah gave you what you're asking for right now, while your circle is filled with people who are quietly competing with you, jealous of you, or wishing for your downfall, your blessings would come mixed with poison. Your heart would never taste the sweetness He intended for you. So He subtracts before He multiplies. He clears the path before He sends the provision. He empties your hands before He fills them. And yes, it hurts. Losing people, losing plans, losing pieces of the life you thought you were building always hurts. It feels like rejection. It feels like abandonment. But one day, you'll see their absence as one of the greatest mercies Allah ever gave you. Because if they had stayed, you would have doubted yourself. In moments you needed courage, you would have questioned Allah. In moments you needed trust, and you would have carried wounds you were never meant to bear. For the silent heart test. There comes a time in your life when Allah doesn't test you through losses or wealth or people. He tests you through silence. No answers, no signs, no doors opening, just silence. And in that silence, your heart becomes louder than ever. You start asking questions you've never asked before. Why is this happening to me? Why are my du'as not being answered? Why does it feel like Allah has left me behind? But listen carefully. This silence isn't absence. This delay isn't rejection. This is the silent heart test. Because sometimes, before Allah gives you the rizq, before He opens the doors, before He unfolds the blessings, you've been crying for it. He tests the condition of your heart. Can you stay patient when everyone else around you seems to rise and you're left waiting? Can you hold on to your faith when your plans fall apart and nothing makes sense? Can you still believe that Allah loves you when your life feels stuck and every dua you make feels like it falls into an endless void? This is where destinies are rewritten, because anyone can believe when life is easy. But the ones Allah raises the highest are those who believe in silence. Sometimes Allah delays your rizq, not because He's punishing you, but because He's polishing your heart. He is preparing you to receive blessings so heavy, so life-changing, that if He gave them too soon, they would crush you. You think you're waiting on rizq, but your rizq is waiting on you, waiting for your heart to surrender completely, waiting for your soul to trust completely, waiting for you to let go of what you think is best and accept what Allah knows is better. Because the silent heart test is not about what you don't have, it's about who you become while you wait. It's about whether you can kneel in sujood with the same love, the same tears, the same gratitude, even when your hands are still empty. But I know waiting hurts. It aches in ways words can't hold. You scroll through life, watching people receive what you've been praying for. You see their happiness, their milestones, their answered du'as, and your heart whispers, Ya Allah, what about me? And yet, even in your silence, even in your heartbreak, Allah is closer to you than your very breath. He hears every word your lips couldn't say. He counts every tear that never fell. He knows every storm you've been carrying alone. And when He delays, it's because He knows that what He has written for you is far greater than anything you are chasing right now. There are moments in life when you stand in the middle of your room, staring at the ceiling, your chest heavy, your eyes wet, and you whisper to yourself, why does it feel like nothing is moving? It's not that you've stopped trying. You've prayed, you've worked, you've knocked on doors, but somehow everything remains the same. Opportunities pass you by, dreams slip through your fingers, and you wonder if maybe, just maybe, Allah has forgotten you. But let me tell you this, if you could see what Allah sees, you would cry tears of gratitude. For every unanswered dua, for every closed door, for every delay you're facing right now. Because sometimes, before Allah blesses your hands, He tests your heart. This test is silent, no warnings, no explanations, no timeline to hold on to, just silence. And in that silence, your heart learns things your mind could never teach you. It learns how to surrender. It learns how to trust. It learns how to stand in the middle of an unseen storm and still whisper, Alhamdulillah. You think this silence means you are being ignored. But what if I told you? This silence is Allah, drawing you closer. He delays your rizq, so you'll spend more nights with your forehead on the ground, pouring your heart out to Him. He delays what you want, so He can give you what you need. He delays what you've planned, so He can gift you what you never imagined. This test of the heart is where your faith becomes real, because believing when life is smooth is easy, but believing when everything is falling apart, that's where faith is born. Maybe you've been comparing yourself to others lately, seeing them achieve what you've been dreaming of, watching them walk into opportunities you've been begging for, and your heart aches silently. Why not me, Ya Allah? But you don't see what Allah sees behind their smiles. You don't hear the prayers they've been crying in private. You don't know the tests they're carrying beneath their blessings. Allah writes different timings for every soul He loves, and just because theirs came first doesn't mean yours isn't on the way. It just means Allah is still polishing your heart, still shaping your soul, still preparing you for the rizq that matches your destiny. Because some blessings are so heavy, so life-changing, that if Allah gave them to you now, they would break you. So He waits. He strengthens your shoulders, He softens your heart, He purifies your intentions, until the day comes when you can stand inside the blessing without losing yourself. And on that day, you'll understand everything. You'll look back and say, if Allah had given me what I wanted, when I wanted it, I wouldn't have been ready. I wouldn't have been able to hold it. I would have ruined it. But now I see why He made me wait. Because Allah was never ignoring you. He was building you. He was loving you in silence. He was teaching your heart how to trust Him when you couldn't see the plan. 5. Allah delays to elevate you. There are moments in life when you wonder why Allah keeps you waiting. You look at your plans, you look at your efforts, you look at your du'as, and nothing seems to move forward. You see others racing ahead, doors open for them effortlessly, opportunities flow into their lives, while you keep knocking on doors that never open. And deep inside, your heart whispers, why me, Ya Allah? Why am I being left behind? But listen carefully. When Allah delays, it is never to deny you. It is to elevate you. You think the waiting is wasted time, but the waiting is where Allah is building you. He slows you down so He can raise you higher than you could have ever climbed alone. Because sometimes the blessing you're asking for isn't wrong, but you're not yet ready to hold it. If Allah gave you everything you wanted right now, you might settle for less than what He wrote for you. You might build your future on doors he never designed for you to walk through. You might lose yourself trying to carry blessings your heart isn't strong enough for yet. So Allah waits. He waits until your hands are steady, your heart is healed, your soul is stronger. Because the risk you're asking for is not small, it's not ordinary, it's heavy, it carries responsibility, tests, and unseen trials that require a different version of you. Right now you might think, Allah is holding you back. But in reality, He's pulling you up. He's elevating your patience. Through unanswered du'as, He's elevating your faith. Through closed doors, He's elevating your character. Through heartbreak, rejection, and waiting that feels endless. Because Allah doesn't just give blessings, He prepares you to stand inside them without breaking. I know the waiting feels like silence. I know there are nights when you cry into your pillow, wondering why nothing seems to change. You scroll through life, watching people receive what you've been begging for, and it hurts in ways you don't know how to explain, but you need to hear this. Allah hasn't forgotten you. He hasn't overlooked you. He hasn't abandoned you. He's positioning you. He's aligning people, places, timing, and opportunities so perfectly that when your risk arrives, you won't just receive it, you'll be ready for it. This delay you hate right now is the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to become. It's where Allah strips away everything that isn't you, everything that isn't aligned with the destiny He's writing for you. Because if He gave you everything, the moment you asked for it, you wouldn't have the strength to carry it. You wouldn't have the wisdom to protect it. You wouldn't have the patience to sustain it. But one day you'll look back and whisper, if Allah had given me what I wanted back then, I would have ruined it. I would have ruined myself. But now I see why He made me wait. Sometimes Allah delays what you're praying for, because the place you're standing right now cannot handle the blessing He has written for you. You think you're ready. You feel prepared. You believe you can carry it. But Allah knows the weight of your rizq better than you do. There are blessings so big, so heavy, so powerful that if Allah gave them too soon, they would break you. So He delays, not to hurt you, but to shape you. Right now, He is stretching your patience, softening your heart, building your strength, and polishing your soul, because the version of you that is standing here today is not the version of you that will live inside the blessing tomorrow. He delays so you can grow into the person who can stand inside what you once prayed for without losing yourself. And yes, I know there are nights when the delay feels unbearable, when the silence feels too loud. When you sit in sujood, your forehead pressed to the ground, and you whisper through tears, Ya Allah, how much longer? But if only you could see how Allah is rearranging your life behind the curtain. If only you could see the doors He is unlocking, the storms He is redirecting, the people He is removing, the traps He is destroying, you would fall into sajda, not to beg, but to thank Him for every unanswered dua, because Allah delays to align. He aligns your rizq with the version of you who can handle it. He aligns your destiny with the people meant to walk beside you. He aligns your path so you don't waste years on doors that were never yours. And here's the beauty in His plan. What was written for you has already been claimed by your name. It cannot be stolen. It cannot be missed. It cannot arrive early, and it cannot arrive late. It will meet you exactly on time, at the moment. Your soul is ready to receive it. So don't mistake the delay for denial. Don't think the silence means abandonment, because Allah's plan was never meant to follow your clock. It was written according to a timing that sees what you cannot see. One day, you'll wake up, and the very doors you've been knocking on for years will swing open without effort. And you'll realize they weren't locked to keep you out. They were locked until you became the person who could walk through them. And when you finally step inside the blessing you used to cry for, you'll see the wisdom behind every delay. You'll understand why the heartbreaks had to happen, why the people had to leave, why the plans had to collapse. Because every no was clearing the way for a louder, greater, unmistakable yes. Allah delays to elevate you. He slows you down so He can raise you higher. And when you arrive, you'll look back and whisper, "It wasn't late, it was perfect." 6. The Rizq written for the new you. There are blessings written in your name right now. Blessings so big, so beautiful, so life-changing, but Allah hasn't sent them to you yet. Not because you're unworthy, not because your du'as are ignored, not because you've been forgotten, but because the version of you today is not the version of you who was meant to receive them. The Rizq you're waiting for is written for the new you. The one who survives this season, who learns patience through heartbreak, who finds faith in silence, who keeps standing, even when the weight feels impossible to bear. Right now, you're being reshaped. Every unanswered dua, every closed door, every heartbreak, every delay, it's all molding you into the person who can carry what's coming, because the blessings you're asking for are not small, they are heavy. They come with responsibilities, tests, and unseen trials that would crush the old you. So Allah waits. He waits until your wounds are healed enough to hold what He wrote for you. He waits until your faith is steady enough to handle doors that will test it. He waits until your heart is strong enough to walk into the very things you once thought would break it. I know. You're tired of waiting. You're tired of praying and waking up to the same walls, the same struggles, and the same unanswered questions. You scroll through life, watching people receive what you've been crying for, and your heart whispers, "Ya Allah, why not me?" But what you don't see is this. Allah is preparing you for a life you can't even imagine right now. He's rewriting your story quietly, aligning opportunities, removing what poisons your peace, strengthening your faith, and surrounding you with people who will match the version of you He's building in silence. Some blessings are so delicate, so precise, that Allah won't let them arrive a second too early, because if He gave them now, you wouldn't see them for what they are. You'd treat them like the old you would have, with fear, with doubt, with restless hands that can't hold still. But the new you, the one being shaped right now in heartbreak, in silence, in unseen tests, that's the version of you who will hold these blessings without letting them slip away. The Rizq you're praying for already has your name on it. It can't be taken, it can't be stolen, it can't be given to anyone else. But Allah loves you too much to give it to the version of you that would lose it. So He delays. He rebuilds you quietly. He breaks you where you needed breaking. He heals you where you didn't know you were wounded. He empties your hands of what's temporary so He can fill them with what was written to last forever. There are seasons in your life where it feels like Allah is holding everything back. Every door stays closed. Every effort feels wasted. Every dua echoes in silence. And you wonder, "Ya Allah, what am I doing wrong? Why are you keeping me here while everyone else moves forward?" But the truth is, Allah isn't punishing you. He's preparing you, because what He has written for you is so much greater than what you're trying to reach right now. The blessings you're praying for are not written for the you who doubts, the you who fears, the you who still clings to what Allah is gently trying to remove. They are written for the new you, the one who learns how to stand again after everything broke you, the one who chooses sabr when giving up feels easier, the one who trusts Allah's silence even when their heart is screaming for answers. Sometimes Allah delays your Rizq because He knows the life you're imagining is too small for what He's preparing. You're praying for drops while He's preparing an ocean. You're asking for a door while He's building you an entire house. You're clinging to people while He's shaping a destiny that will require you to walk without them. And this is why it hurts so much. This is why the waiting feels unbearable, because He's detaching you from everything that can't go with you into the next chapter of your life. Before Allah reveals what's yours, He reshapes who you are. He breaks attachments that would poison your blessings. He exposes intentions you never would have seen on your own. He softens your heart so you can carry risk without arrogance. He builds your patience so your hands don't drop what he's about to place in them. You think nothing is happening, but everything is. In silence, Allah is rewriting you to match the blessings He already wrote for you. And I know. There are nights you whisper in frustration, Ya Allah, I've been waiting for so long. How much longer will I wait? But if you only knew what He was aligning for you, you would fall into sujood and thank Him for every delay, because one day you'll wake up and realize the person you've become was worth every unanswered dua. You'll hold blessings in your hands and whisper, if this had come earlier, I wouldn't have been ready. I would have lost it. I would have lost myself, but now I see. And on that day, you'll understand why the heartbreaks had to happen, why certain people had to leave, why the delays had to stretch this long. Because the risk you're about to step into isn't meant for who you were. It's meant for who you've become. You'll realize you weren't waiting for your risk was waiting for you. 7. The day Allah rewrites your story. There comes a day in every believer's life when everything suddenly makes sense. The heartbreaks, the delays, the rejections, the nights of crying into your pillow when no one else knew the weight you carried. A day when you realize that all along, Allah was rewriting your story while you thought He was breaking it. Right now, you may feel trapped in a chapter you never wanted to live, a chapter full of unanswered du'as, closed doors, and silence that feels endless. You look around and it seems like everyone else is moving forward while you're standing still, and you whisper in the quiet of the night, Ya Allah, why me? But what you don't see yet is that the very delays breaking your heart are the same delays building your destiny, because Allah isn't punishing you. He's positioning you. He's shifting the pieces of your life in ways you can't yet understand. He's moving people in and out of your path, breaking attachments that would limit you, aligning blessings you haven't seen yet, all to place you exactly where you're meant to be. There's a day written for you when all the waiting will make sense, when the pain you're carrying right now will turn into gratitude so deep it brings you to tears. A day when you'll finally whisper, Ya Allah, now I understand. Because on that day, the very doors you've been begging to open will swing wide without you even touching them. The people who left you, who misunderstood you, who doubted you, their absence will make sense. You'll see that Allah had to remove them because they couldn't go where He's about to take you. Sometimes Allah delays, not because He wants you to suffer, but because He's preparing a stage you can't see yet. He's arranging a moment so perfectly aligned, so beautifully written, that if it came any earlier, you wouldn't have been ready to receive it. Every no you heard, every plan that collapsed, every opportunity that slipped through your fingers, they were never rejections. They were redirections. Silent whispers saying, not here, not yet, trust me. And I know. You've had nights when you doubted. You've prayed until your heart ached. You've broken down in sujood, begging for just one sign, and when nothing seemed to change, you wondered if Allah was even listening. But He was. He always was, because while you were waiting, He was working. While you were crying, He was rearranging. While you were losing people, opportunities, and plans, He was making space for something far greater than what you were holding on to. One day, without warning, everything will change. You'll wake up in the same bed, in the same room, under the same ceiling, but something will feel different. The heaviness in your chest will be gone. The doors you've been begging Allah to open will swing wide without you knocking. The people who doubted you, who left you, who thought you were finished, will hear your name in rooms they never imagined. And in that moment you'll realize Allah never forgot you. He was rewriting your story while you thought nothing was happening. Because the delay was never about punishment, it was about positioning. He was pulling you away from what would destroy you, even while you fought to hold on to it. He was removing people whose hearts weren't built to walk with you. Into the blessings he's preparing, he was letting certain plans collapse, so you wouldn't settle for less than what he wrote for you. And all the while, you thought you were being ignored, but you weren't. You were being protected. This is how Allah works. He hides you in silence, so he can build you in private. He delays your breakthrough because he knows the version of you today isn't ready to carry what's waiting tomorrow, so he breaks you to rebuild you stronger. He empties your hands so he can fill them with more. He closes doors so you don't walk into places that would have stolen your peace. Every unanswered dua, every sleepless night, every heartbreak wasn't the end of you. It was the making of you. And then there comes that one day, the day Allah decides now, the day written for you, long before you were born, the day every test, every delay, every loss suddenly makes sense. You'll see why he took them away. You'll see why he kept you hidden. You'll see why he kept saying, not yet, when all you wanted was now. And your heart will whisper through tears you can't hold back, Subhanallah, you were never late. You were perfect. Right now, it may feel like you're stuck, like your life is paused, while everyone else moves forward. But listen to me carefully. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared for a moment so perfectly timed that when it comes, you'll realize why you had to wait. Because when Allah rewrites your story, he doesn't just change your circumstances. He changes you. He transforms your heart, your patience, your faith, until you become someone you barely recognize. And one day, you'll thank him for every unanswered dua. You'll thank him for every heartbreak. You'll thank him for every delay that once made you cry yourself to sleep, because without them, you wouldn't be ready to hold what's coming. The day Allah rewrites your story will be the day you finally understand that every closed door was mercy, every no was protection, and every delay was him setting you up for something greater than you ever imagined. There will come a day when you'll wake up and realize you are living in the very dua you once cried for. A day when the walls you thought would never move will fall silently around you. A day when the doors you've been banging on for years will open without effort. A day when you'll breathe deeply and whisper, Subhanallah, this was worth every tear. That day is written. It cannot be delayed. It cannot be stolen. It cannot miss you, because what Allah writes for you isn't tied to the approval of people, isn't dependent on timing you can control, and isn't bound by the plans you once made. It's tied to his knowledge, his mercy, and his perfect wisdom. But until that day comes, you're being prepared in silence. Every heartbreak you've endured wasn't random. It broke what needed breaking, so you could grow into the person who can hold the blessing that's coming. Every person who left was never meant to walk with you. Into the chapter Allah is writing next, every plan that failed was protecting you from settling for less than what he intended for you. And I know, sometimes the waiting feels endless. It feels like life is moving forward without you, like everyone else is finding happiness while you're standing still. But listen carefully, you are not behind. You are on time, exactly on time. Because the author of your story doesn't write delays. He writes perfect alignments. When Allah rewrites your story, he doesn't just change what's around you. He changes what's inside you. You'll realize you're no longer the same person who begged for that door years ago. Your faith will be deeper. Your patience will be stronger. Your gratitude will flow like water from a healed heart, and you'll look back at the version of you who once cried, who once begged for shortcuts, and you'll whisper softly, if only you knew what Allah was preparing. Because that's the truth. If you knew what Allah was aligning for you right now, you wouldn't complain about a single delay. You'd wake up every morning and say, Alhamdulillah, for the doors he's keeping closed. You'd thank him for the heartbreaks he allowed. You'd praise him for the people he removed. because you'd understand that without this long wait, without this deep silence, without these heavy tests, you wouldn't become the person capable of carrying what He's written. And when that day arrives, when Allah decides, now, it will come so beautifully, so suddenly, so effortlessly, that you'll fall into sujood with tears streaming down your face and say, Ya Allah, you were never late. I was never forgotten. You were rewriting my story all along. 8. A dua for the one waiting. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Forget the noise of the world. This is between you and Allah. I know your heart is tired. I know the waiting has been long. I know you've whispered the same dua 1,000 times in the quiet of the night, wondering if anyone hears. I know you've smiled in front of people, while secretly carrying storms they'll never understand. I know you've compared yourself to others, watching them step into blessings you've been begging for, and it hurts in ways you can't put into words. But listen to me. You are not forgotten. Your tears are not ignored. Your duas are not lost in the wind. Every sigh, every whisper, every silent prayer has already reached the one who hears before your lips can move. And now, let's turn your pain into a prayer. Say it slowly, say it softly, and let every word settle into your soul. Ya Allah, I am tired, but I will not give up. I am weak, but you are my strength. I am lost, but you are my guide. If this delay is my test, grant me patience that holds me steady when my heart wants to give up. If this silence is your mercy, let me trust it even when I don't understand. And if what I am asking for is good for me, bring it closer to me in ways that fill my heart with sukoon. And if it is not, Ya Allah, replace it with something better than anything I could imagine. Pause. Breathe. Let the words sink in. Because you see, dua is not just asking. Dua is surrender. It is telling Allah, I don't know what's best for me, but you do, and I trust you. And when you truly trust Him, your heart rests. Because even when you don't get what you ask for, you know He is holding back, only to replace it with something far greater. You are not waiting for nothing. You are waiting for perfection. The Rizq written for you cannot miss you. It cannot be delayed by people, by mistakes, by time, or by fear. It is written and it is waiting for the exact moment. Your soul is ready to hold it. Lower your shoulders, close your eyes. This is between you and the one who has never left you. Say this slowly. Let every word come from your chest, not just your lips. Ya Allah, you know the sleepless nights I've carried. You know the tears I've hidden from the world. You know the prayers I couldn't even put into words. You know the storms I've walked through silently, pretending to be okay when my heart was breaking. Ya Allah, you know everything I've lost, everything I've begged for, everything I've buried inside my chest, where no one else can see. Ya Allah, if this waiting is what will bring me closer to you, then keep me here as long as you will. But do not let my heart grow hard. Do not let me lose faith in your timing, even when it feels unbearable. Ya Allah, write for me a rizq that fills my heart before it fills my hands. Give me blessings that will never make me forget you. Surround me with people who remind me of you, and remove those who would poison my peace. And Ya Allah, when the day comes that you decide to open the doors I've been knocking on, let me enter them with humility, gratitude, and a heart that remembers who gave me everything I once prayed for. Let the silence after this dua sit in your chest. Breathe. Let your tears fall if they come, because sometimes tears are the answer before the blessing arrives. And now, listen carefully. If you're still waiting, don't mistake the silence for abandonment. Don't think that because nothing has changed, Allah has turned away from you. Every "not yet" is not a rejection, it's a redirection. It's Allah whispering, I am preparing something better. Trust me, your name has already been written on blessings you haven't seen yet. The rizq you're crying for is already tied to your destiny. It's coming, it cannot be stolen. It cannot miss you, it will arrive exactly when your heart is ready to carry it. Until that day comes, keep talking to him. Keep raising your hands. Keep whispering your du'as, even when your voice trembles, even when your eyes are heavy, even when your heart doubts. Because Allah loves hearing your voice. He loves your persistence. And every tear, every sajda, every broken prayer is planting seeds for a harvest so beautiful you won't believe it when it arrives. And when it does, when Allah finally decides, now, you'll hold that blessing in your hands. Your forehead will touch the ground and you'll whisper through tears, Ya Allah, you were never late. You never forgot me. You loved me in silence when I thought you were far, and now I see every delay was mercy. Stay here for a moment. Don't rush. Forget the world outside. This is just you and the one who has loved you since before you were even born. There are du'as you've whispered in the dark that no one else knows about. There are nights you've cried into the corners of your pillow, telling no one, carrying storms alone. There are moments you've smiled at people while quietly breaking inside. And sometimes you've even wondered if Allah has forgotten you, but He hasn't. Not for a single breath. Ya Allah, you know the secrets of my heart. You know the fears I hide and the hopes I can't say out loud. You know the weight I've carried for years, silently without anyone seeing. You know the heartbreaks that shook me to my core and the prayers I've repeated endlessly, believing, trusting, hoping, even when my faith felt thin. Maybe right now you feel like your life is stuck, like everyone is moving forward while you're left behind. But what you can't see is this. Allah is not delaying you. He is preparing you. There are blessings written for you that your hands aren't ready to hold yet, but they are already on their way. He's removing the wrong people, healing wounds you didn't know existed, and softening your heart. So when the risk comes, you will see it, honor it, and keep it. Ya Allah, I surrender to you. I let go of what I cannot control and hold on to you instead. Ya Allah, write for me a rizq that brings me closer to you, not further away. Give me a heart that chooses gratitude over comparison, patience over despair, and trust over fear. And when you give me the wisdom to protect what you bless me with. Listen carefully. Your rizq will not be stolen. Your blessings will not miss you. The doors Allah wrote for you will open when the time is right. Not a second earlier, not a second late. This silence you're living in now, it's not abandonment, it's alignment. Ya Allah, let my waiting be worship. Let my patience be beloved to you. Let my brokenness be the reason you hold me closer than ever. Do not leave me to myself for even the blink of an eye. Carry me when I cannot walk. Lift me when I cannot stand, and never ever let my heart stop calling your name. And when that day finally comes, when Allah whispers, now, you'll see doors unlock you didn't even know existed. You'll receive blessings so perfectly tailored to your soul and your timing that you'll realize why it had to take this long. And you'll fall into sujood, tears soaking the ground, and you'll whisper through shaking lips, Ya Allah, you never forgot me. You never abandoned me. You loved me in silence when I thought you were far. And now I see every delay was your mercy. Every not yet was your protection. Every tear I shed was a seed you watered into blessings I couldn't imagine. If this reminder touched your heart, share it, because someone you love might be fighting the same silent test tonight.